5 things this week that told you any alleged quarterback competition involving CJ Stroud is officially dead. Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah,
Is the quarterback competition dead? Was it ever alive to begin with? Depends how you look at it. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2, Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Number one source for Houston Texans radio content and Houston sports content. This is the number one source for Houston Texans digital content. If you're new here, appreciate you for coming through. Please subscribe, like, to get the pulse of what's going on with the Houston Texans. Player interviews weekly, cover the team closer than anyone. Appreciate you for stopping by. So this quarterback competition, this alleged quarterback competition between CJ Stroud and Davis Mills, I think it's officially done. And even if it was a competition, I think there's 5 reasons why it's encouraging that it's done. And there's 5 things that CJ Stroud has done to kind of end it. And if you listen to this show and if you watch this show, I talked about how Bobby Slowick heading into the off day this week and how the schedule goes is they go 3 on, 1 off. So they practice 3 days and then they take a day off. Heading into the off day before the final 3 days, they're off today. Bobby Slowick made it pretty clear that any alleged struggles that CJ Stroud was having, the 3 interceptions in 2 practices, he wasn't concerned about. And he gave him an excuse that may or may not have been valid. This is Bobby Slowick telling us everything we needed to know about this alleged quarterback competition between CJ Stroud and Davis Mills. This is him answering a question about the struggles.
The first thing I've seen is that it's really hot in Houston. And I know that's like there's challenges that come with that, you know, making sure that you know how to handle the heat, you know how to handle the challenges of a wet ball, you know how to handle the challenges of a center who maybe just ran 4 run plays in a row and 30 yards down the field. And, you know, he's a little greased up, you know, and having answers and preparation for that is a big part of just being able to handle the environment. Then on top of that, being able to continue to trust his feet, go through his progressions, which he's done a really good job of as we get through camp. And then mistakes get made along the way. Sometimes it's a receiver, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's him. And you kind of just learn from them, grow from them, bank it. That's what training camp's about. Training camp's about good on good, not always having a perfect play and seeing if we can make it work because that winds up paying off in season.
Does he respond well when you guys go back and look at the film? They say he was a football junkie, but is he taking the early struggles well?
Absolutely. Usually he'll turn right around and he can say what went wrong. Whether it was him, me, like I said, receiver, protection. I mean, he has a great feel for what's happening around him. And it doesn't take all the way until the film room to be able to talk about it and know how to handle it. He has an idea before we see the tape. Typically with him, the tape is just verifying what he already knows.
All right. So that right there told you. For me, that told me. First of all, it could be a valid excuse. He's never going to play in this heat. It is kind of a little bit of a beast. It's a factor that, you know, we just kind of consider a part of life. But when it's your first time doing it, maybe it does impact you. There have been times, and I'm as close as anyone to the action where at late in practice, he's kind of looked fatigued. Trainers have had to come over, put some water on the neck and all that type of stuff. So there is that. But the offensive coordinator told you. He told you right there everything you needed to know. He was not concerned about any struggles. It was about CJ getting better. It didn't seem like that guy was talking about, you know, someone that was competing. It sounded like he was talking about someone that he anticipated being his starting quarterback. Then they came back to the field. And this is where it became very clear that this quarterback competition, this alleged quarterback competition is done. And I'm going to present you with the 5 reasons. Do I leave anything out? Am I screwing anything up? Be sure to subscribe, like, download, let me know. Always appreciate the feedback. Let's start with number 1. The number 1 reason why this quarterback competition is done, if it ever started, the reps. CJ's getting all the first team reps now, all of them. He's gotten all of them the last 2 days. He got a large chunk, if not all of them, 3 practices ago, which was the practices after Slowick said what he said. He's getting all the first team reps. Unless they're just doing something incredibly weird, they're making it very clear that they anticipate CJ is going to be the guy. He's getting all the first team reps. Number 2, and this is important, and this has got to be something that they've maybe discussed. Number 2, he's using his legs. Early on in training camp, CJ was kind of holding on to the ball. He was looking downfield. Would have been sacks. There have been plays where maybe they would have been sacks, but there's also a clear, decisive effort by CJ to run, whether it's running to the side and looking upfield, whether it's taking off and running and getting a few yards or trying to cut upfield. He's using his legs a lot more, specifically since they got back from that break post-Slowick news conference. And I think that's encouraging. So number 1, he's getting all the reps. Number 2, he's using his legs. Number 3, red zone diversity. Texans in the red zone, they haven't been one of the better red zone teams in the NFL. A lot of times they become one-dimensional. A lot of times they're kind of limited. But in the red zone, CJ Stroud has looked fantastic. And it's not just one specific skill. I'll point to the scrimmage on Saturday. He had good throws on all sides of the field, right, middle, left. And he started right to left. He threw a pass to Dameon Pierce, nice little touch pass where Dameon Pierce was able to come down with on the corner of the end zone over Desmond King. Later on in that period, team 1, he threw a nice touch pass to Mason Schreck, back of the end zone in the middle. And then one that didn't count, although it may have been reviewed if it'd been a real game. Nice little touch pass to Dalton Schultz where he put it to where Dalton Schultz could high point it over the defender, and he kind of mossed him. So red zone diversity, that's something the Texans are really going to want to be better at in the red zone. CJ Stroud showed skills in the red zone, and not only just, it's not just one specific throw. He did it in all areas of the field, all different types of throws. So red zone diversity. Number 4, target share. Texans are going to want to spread the ball out. They're going to want to have an even target share. CJ Stroud at certain times, he's had chemistry with Noah Brown. He's had chemistry with Tank Dell, who was fantastic on Sunday. He's had some plays with Mechie. Early on in practice, before Dalton Schultz got a little bit nicked up, he had chemistry going with Schultz. Him and Dameon Pierce have connected a couple of times. He's had some awesome plays to Robert Woods, some 3rd and 1, some chain movers there. So spreading the ball out, the target share is another thing CJ's done to end this alleged quarterback controversy again, if it ever started. And number 5, reason to be encouraged is Davis Mills' performance. I want to give Davis Mills some credit. Davis Mills has been pretty good. He's looked like a solid backup quarterback, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as a compliment. How great is CJ Stroud looking? He's looking okay. He's improving. He's looking better. What does that result in? How does he end up looking when the game's actually played? D'Amico Ryan said we'll be able to get a better grasp when games are actually played. That's cool, but as far as what we can actually see and what's going on the practice field, Davis Mills is playing good, and CJ Stroud is still by far the superior quarterback. And that's encouraging because it's not almost by default. It's not Davis Mills going out there and competing against Kyle Allen and Jeff Driscoll. And you say, oh, well, you might as well, see what happens here. No, you have CJ Stroud outperforming Davis Mills, who's having a pretty good camp himself. So those are the 5 encouraging things and the 5 reasons why this quarterback competition is over, if it ever started. Number 1, he's getting all the first team reps. Number 2, he's using his legs. Number 3, red zone diversity. Number 4, target share. Number 5, Davis Mills' performance. Subscribe, like, right along. Going to be back on the practice field tomorrow. Texans game week. Probably going to be a little bit of a light exercise. We'll be back out there again Tuesday, and then Wednesday they're going to have the day off, and then Thursday we got a freaking game post-game show. Best post-game show in town. Got a little taste of that on Sunday after the scrimmage. If you missed that and you want to know everything exactly that went on in that scrimmage, you'll feel like you were there if you go check out my last live video. Subscribe, like, ride along. No matter what happens when it comes to this Texans stuff, we are all in this together. Thank you very much for coming through. See you on Monday.
Every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localized every time, can't stop.